Hello, Canada! Monday Night Lights here, Rainbow Six Siege here at the Canadian Collegiate League. Tonight we have the Windsor Lancers facing off against TMU Gold. My name is Zach Vexel right here on the desk. Joining me here is Bianca, as you can see, and Kiyoshi is our eye in the sky camera individual. Bianca, how are we doing today? How are we feeling about this matchup?
I am doing wonderful. It's actually a government holiday here in Canada, so I got the day off work. So I am full energy. I'm fully pumped for today. And hopefully, this matchup will definitely bring us a lot of hype as we go through it.
I kind of wish I had that day off myself, but we don't get that kind of luxury over here. But looking at this matchup between these two teams, dead even on the standings, I get, we're only 3 weeks in. There's still a lot of the season still to go, but 2-1 TMU, 2-1 the Windsor Lancers as well. This should be a very interesting matchup to say the least.
Well, hopefully it'll be a good enough game. Are we going to be going into our rosters first? I want to see the players that we're going to be able to cast tonight.
That's right. We're gonna jump on over to the rosters. We'll be able to see some of the players to watch over here. We got Sonic over there for the Windsor Lancers and Helio, respectively, for TMU Gold. Nothing to stand out. Obviously the KDs are pretty separate between these two teams. Sonic being 17 and 8, and maybe the 49 and 25 from Helio.
Yeah. Seems like they've definitely played, or somebody's played a lot more. At least Helio. It seems like maybe he's had a couple more games under his belt because,
No, same games.
what?
I'm kidding.
Are you
I
serious?
don't know. No,
Oh,
I'm not serious.
I was gonna say, oh my gosh, you're joking.
Probably, yeah. It's really good. We're going to jump on over to standings, take a look, and see how these teams are faring up. As you can see, we are in our Group A division here. Things are, like we said, dead even over there. TMU Gold and Windsor both all tied up in the win column. So this showing right here is going to be the deciding factor on how they separate.
Well, we'll see how that ends up turning out. I like how you can see the who's getting promoted and who's getting demoted. It seems like some teams have fallen in the rankings and other teams have. Well, it seems like a lot of teams have gone up. So we'll see. Will this game really decide if anyone's going to be moving upwards or downwards? I guess I assume so. Of course. Never mind.
Well, it's still early in the season, so a lot of people are, well, a lot of teams, I should say, are going to be moving up and down very rapidly until we finally start to settle into our comfort zones and define where we belong, so to say. Going to be jumping on over and checking out TMU Gold and seeing how they fare so far over there at their, a 50% win rate. Captain for TMU Gold is going to be actually. That's a different way of spelling that. But you know what? Gets the job done. Osbrosis, Bulbous, Helio, and Thick Monkey. There we go. We got quite an interesting team. Apparently they like Bank.
That name. Bank is so good. Stop. Bank is I don't know. I'm such a Bank lover. So at least for me, I absolutely love playing Bank. I like casting Bank as well. Skyscraper is the worst one, but I guess Skyscraper just depends if you're, playing it offensively or defensively. Then maybe it's, either side because Skyscraper is extremely defender sided. So most of the time, if you're defending it, you're winning it. And if you're not, then, well, better luck next time.
I'm pretty sure Skyscraper 2 is one of the lower end, even in the Pro League, in terms of pick rate. Just not a very enjoyable map, I think, for most players. Let's go and check out Windsor as well and see how they fare over there with their, similar 50% win rate, I should say. I almost said wins rate, but over there with their captain, Julian's rum glass. There we go. Uniquely a Canadian no-name. That is a name. You can't fool me. Minsk and Sonic.
Well, look, their worst map happens to be Bank, which happens to me the other team's best map. So we'll see if they decide to opt to have Bank out early off in the map bans because that would definitely That would be a really big bullet to dodge if your worst map happens to be bank and your opponent's best map happens to be bank. So hopefully that's off the board. I can already assume it should be if they do be looking up the stats. If they don't, then well, we do it for them. But I guess we have the luxury of hindsight. They don't. So if they didn't end up banning it, I guess womp womp. Border, their best map. I like Border. Actually, another amazing map that I really enjoy playing and casting on as well. So I would be excited if we were to see Border. I have one question though. Are we gonna see Oregon at all, or Oregon is
No.
completely cut from here?
Oregon, let's
Ooh.
everybody F's in chat for Oregon. Oregon has been removed from the map pool, and we will not be seeing it for who knows how long. It has been taken by Layer. And I don't expect to see Layer anytime soon. I mean, you never know
Oh
on that one.
yeah.
I feel like it kind of fits in that column with Skyscraper, but we can check out the map bans in just a moment to see if Bank did in fact
No
make it
way.
through by TMU.
Are
They
you
got that one
kidding?
locked in for their attacking start, and that's not going to come in until our second map. We will be starting with Chalet, and it did seem like Windsor wanted to start on the attacking side over there, and normally this is one of the more defensive-sided maps as well. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they approach it from attack first.
Well, I mean, we do have bank that's picked, but the final map, if it does go all three, will end up being border, which obviously Windsor is. They have the or at least not the advantage, but it is their best map, so they'll be putting their best foot forward as we go into that third map, which hopefully we do because I am a sucker for games that go the full way, and I hope it does. But of course, Chalet, a map that's basically like the back of your hand. I feel like at the time when Oregon was still in there, Oregon, Chalet, and Clubhouse were like the big three when it came
Hmm.
to maps. So I think absolutely those maps you should know like the back of your hand. There's absolutely no excuse why you wouldn't know every single call out, every single strategy. I find that Chalet is definitely a map that I think a lot of the time comes down more to just skill more than anything else because most of the time, like I said, it's at least for me, it seems like an even playing field. Both attackers and defenders know every single strategy in the book for a map like that. And so it really, I think, just comes down to winning your
Right.
ones. But we'll see how well it goes.
It's very important for those long-term maps that have been in the pool for a while, circulated around. Like you said, you should understand your callouts, you should understand the positioning, a lot of the same strategies, and that's where I think, you start to slack on some of the, how should I say, the more define more the basics. When you look at it in the long run of things, you're like, okay, I know what I need to do, and that's where a team can just come out of nowhere and surprise you with something you haven't seen before in a approach from a different angle, and you're like, okay, this isn't what normally happens. This isn't the normal way we breach this site, or, even just what site gets played in general. So, you know what? Maybe when it gets down to that, whether we go to border or not, it seems like maybe TMU wants to put this away in two so that they don't have to attempt to board the helicopter.
Well, I hope that we end up going the full way. Having Bank though as a second pick is definitely considering as well that it happens to be was it again? I can't remember the other team, but it happens to be their worst. It happens to be their worst map. That's definitely hopefully it would be crazy if they end up winning it too, but I guess only one can dream. And then obviously having that border as that last kind of like cushion at the bottom in case it doesn't go in 1-1, which I think I have not. I don't think I've seen either of these teams play. So it's for me a completely open book. I'm not sure if there is a team that if you would know has the upper hand already just in terms of like chemistry and gameplay. If you do you have like kind of like a favoring team that you think is gonna win this or at least map one?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anything about your guys' league. I'm gonna be your newcomer coming in here. Yeah, I know a little bit about
Basically
Rainbow
me
Six
too.
Siege. Yeah, I know some about the Rainbow Six Siege. Seeing a little bit about the amateur scene, but more so in the American side of things. Yes, I'm on that end, but it'll be interesting to see. Oh, I can look at stats all day, and that really just says, okay, you know, we're going into week 3, and these teams are all tied up 1-1. So there's really no clear
Yeah,
defining
there's not
point between
much.
these two
Yeah.
teams. Yeah, the one thing that is sticking out to me is the bank best map for TMU, worst map for Windsor, and I don't know if that's going to be such a deciding factor, but it's really going to come down to, I feel, how well Chalet ends up getting played by TMU to turn bank into that deciding map. So I guess I'll have to go into the ask is like, what are some of the bans or picks you're going to be expecting going into Chalet for a defensive start from TMU?
100%. I would at least, well, not 100%, but I would say that it would be wise to have the bans at least on either side because either team can ban. But I would say having a Ying off the board and having the Monty off the board going into Chalet, or even a Dokkaebi. It really depends. And then defensively, I would probably say that they're gonna end up doing Mira and Valk. I mean, not Mira, Azami and Valk. Those seem to be the typical picks in basically almost every single map, but I think that Valk is so strong when it comes to Chalet, and I feel like she gets banned basically all the time on Chalet. I feel like it's kind of odd when I don't end up seeing her banned. So I would say Monty 100%. I want to say Valk and Azami are probably like 99%. Either one of them is going to get banned 100%, and then the other one, I guess, is just kind of like, depends on how the team is like. But
Right.
again, it also varies, depending on the tiers. I'm not sure like what you would consider this league, if this is more of like a T4-ish kind of league. I'm not too sure, but I think that it definitely bans also heavily depend on the type of level of playing that both teams are in. Typically, I feel like the like lower rated teams end up kind of having like miscellaneous bans versus higher teams, which typically go for the very linear bans of having that Monty gone, having that Dokkaebi gone, having the Valk, the Azami. Depends, but yeah. I think that's kind of what we're gonna see for bans as of right now. But I think we're going to be swapping into the game finally. So we will see if my predictions are correct for the bans with both TMU and Windsor. So we'll
Absolutely
see.
jumping on into bands for game number 1. Good luck, have fun all around. I agree uniquely, and Canadian no name it is the Ying. You were right on the money with that one. Something that I heard you mention was the Dokkaebi. Now, Dokkaebi's pick rate has fallen significantly because of her nerfs that ended up coming through, and for such a strong operator to just be brought down so hard, it hurts me as somebody who loves Dokkaebi so much. We do see the ace getting removed out of there, some hard breach, gonna get knocked off the board. We still have things like the Thermite available, and hey, I mean, even Monty still available, gonna be up on the board. We'll see if either of the teams end up utilizing that. Azami gonna get knocked on out of here for the first ban on the defensive side for Windsor, and we will see what exactly this final operator. Now, you mentioned the Valkyrie, a good information operator, but hey, Fenrir, another information operator, a lot of utility he can provide, being alive, being dead. Those FNAT mines end up going off and just doing a good job at blinding individuals. It really just shuts down the engage from the offense.
I'm definitely surprised that the Monty didn't end up getting the chopping block. And even despite him being able to be played, he will not be utilized. Same thing with the Valk. I feel like Fenrir almost never gets banned, especially because of the nerf that ended up happening with him, where now you're able to shoot his Fenrir traps even without them being open. And he also has, I believe, like one less. So seeing a Fenrir ban over a Valk on a map like this definitely kind of rubs me a weird way, but at the same
Right.
time, it doesn't seem like TMU is going to be utilizing her anyways, and so with that, I guess it just ends up working out. They don't necessarily need her on the board. One thing that I'm a little bit flabbergasted about is the fact that Monty is the board, but we're not going to be using him at all. Monty is like literally infamous for being able to take space so fast, being able to get in there, and he's honestly extremely powerful, especially with the buff with the shield. So to see him not being played with him on the board is definitely interesting. And this Mira also seems to be something that I've never seen before, so this will kind of be we'll see how this goes.
I think something to keep in mind all the time too is, do you have a Monty player? I do feel like You know, it does take skill to sit behind the shield, know how to walk up with your team, make those kind of call-outs. You need somebody who is confident on the comms in just guiding the team in what needs to go on. I've seen some really great Monty plays, namely on Nighthaven. We won't be seeing that one today, but, you know, I've seen some teams who take very aggressive play to just take control of the garage, but that's the kind of thing that you can end up seeing here as well on Chalet. If you just have a Monty pushing up through that main stairwell right through the lobby and taking control and just supplying information to their team, it can be so beneficial. But you know what? We're talking a lot about Monty. That shield operator's not in here, but you know who is? It is going to be this Osa. You have the EMPs, which is going to be a little bit to help the anti-breach. Let's see if we see the opening pick there, and down they go. Helio ending up finding the opening one onto uniquely. Player advantage for TMU.
Seems to be going in their favor quite well. It's going to be about a minute 45 remaining on the board. I'm sure that the boys on Windsor know that there is going to be a Frost cheekily downstairs. They better start using their drones and figuring out where she is to kind of get rid of her, because if she's still down there, it's going to be a bit of a thorn in their side to have to try and get rid of her. She is still going to be down there in the kitchen. She's got to be careful coming in through that west main, as well as whatever is happening over through Trophy. But as I say that, it seems like the refrag is going to come out. Helio's going to get taken down, as well as Mr. Strike. I hope I said that okay. Who is also going to get taken down with his comrade, leaving us with a minute remaining in a 3v4 in favor of the boys on Windsor.
Time ticking down in the final 60 seconds. It is almost goal time, and there's another pickup for the offense. Canadian No Name ends up finding the headshot onto Nick Levin. See if the Nitro ends up landing. It does not. And, you know, the offense, they're doing a good job whittling down the members of the defense, but not really pushing inside, not going to be able to knock down any of the actual utility. It's going to be very difficult to just rush into sight against a Frost. You know, mirror window still available on site. Granted, the mirror herself is down. You're not going to be able to just run in for free, and they're realizing that now as we're getting down into the final 30 seconds of this match.
This would have been a great time to have a Monty to be able to kind of take some space, but the Sen seems to be blocking off a little bit of the line of sight that's going to be coming in from her left. And with that, Gridlock is going to start getting that bomb planted very cheekily in a 2v4. Of course, time is ticking down, but it doesn't matter. Now this bomb is planted. Time resets. We're going to be at about 40 seconds, but it seems like a trade for a trade and a 1v3. Unfortunately, Mr. Baboose is not going to be able to win out that 1v4, getting one kill but taken out swiftly after. Seems like the boys on Windsor will have swiftly won out that round despite starting off with the man disadvantage.
Yeah, first one on the board for you, Windsor. That's going to be a nice one. And, I mean, hey, they picked the map. So maybe they know a little bit about something, and they selected they wanted offense too. And here I am shooting them down saying, oh, but, you know, a lot of people sit there and talk about how this is a very good defensive side. And you know what? I'm still going to lean into that. It's still round one. We're going to see what kind of adaptations TMU end up pulling out. So far, a very similar operator lineup that we see here. One substitution that did get brought in was the mute. So a little bit of an adaptation. What's going to change? How is this going to affect their strategy?
Well, I will say one thing. Still having this Mira, but was the Mira actively playing over in through library? Even if she was, I don't think that a lot of where Windsor was coming in from was from library. A lot of it just seemed to be coming in through Astro and going in through that bottom trophy. So hopefully the boys on TMU will be able to kind of suppress wherever they're going to be coming in from. Not only that, but even on repels. I mean, once they had the man advantage, they were basically able to kind of just move in closer and closer, splitting up and just kind of forming into one spot right in the middle, which would have been a sight. This is a cheeky little angle. I like that. Maybe we'll be able to catch somebody off guard with that. But as I'm speaking, Alibi will also be roaming around, along with, of course, Helio is going to be continuing to defend his kitchen site. Now that is how a real man plays in the kitchen.
A real man plays in the... Yeah, you got to hold some of these off-site angles, and, you know, if it's in the kitchen, it's got to be in the kitchen. So be it. This is a nice little spread here, though, coming in. And I really like the extension of the site coming in from TMU. It felt like they were a little bit more tighter in the previous round outside of their Frost roaming around, you know, now extending really nice and further out towards that trophy to make sure to... Okay, I'm not going to say they gave up that whole lobby area in the last round. They didn't do that. You know, they had people playing in the nearby area. I just might have missed this setup. Don't get me wrong. But I do like seeing it here. Close. Close was the Osan fallen on this one.
What I will say is that I think a Jackal would have been really good to have used here, especially because Jackal is on the board. I feel like I don't often see a Sens, and I'm not sure how strong a Sens really is over somebody like a Jackal. You know that there are operators and players that like to roam, and even Frost and Alibi both being off-site in last game or last round as well. We had the Frost. Would be good to have somebody to kind of be able to pinch out where these roaming operators are. With that, though, it seems like we're going to be in a 5v3. Windsor are going to need to step it up. A minute remains, and they haven't really taken much space at all, let alone bodies.
There's a really hard angle getting held. Sonic does end up bringing us a little bit closer, ticking down in the final 45 seconds. You know, you lost your hard breach, you lost your information operator with the IQ. It's going to be difficult to just kind of get an eye on where the placements of the gadgets are for TMU, where the operators are even moving around for TMU. With the man advantage, 30 seconds left on the clock, actually ends up finding Sonic. We saw the 4v2 situation in the last round, but for the offense side of things instead, a 1-2 switcheroo, and the defenders end up coming out on top on this one. And now we're all even back out. TMU is on the board.
Yes, Bobus, who was the last alive last round and ended up getting killed, will be the last alive this round to get the final 2 kills for his team. A lot stronger of a defensive setup, especially with those opening picks coming in for the boys that were roaming around. This will be a good time again to bring a Jackal. Instead, we're going to be going barn gaming, and I will say I like the Capitan pick. This is something that is absolutely, I feel like it's never overlooked, especially when you're attacking on bar. Obviously, they don't know that they're going bar, but it would be a very safe assumption to say that they would be going bar. I'm surprised that we don't see a doc. Typically, we'll have a doc playing upstairs in library to basically eat those fire bolts so that the Capitan isn't able to use them later on. But that doesn't seem to be the case at all. Instead, we're going to be having another setup upstairs, but this time, unfortunately, not this time, but as we're defending upstairs, it doesn't seem like we're going to be bringing the doc with us, so we'll see. And I actually, as I say this, the Capitan ends up getting 6 picked off. So
you know, I'm kind of surprised we didn't see something like the Capital or the Flores in the previous round. And granted, there was a mute on screen, but like even just starting with an operator like the Flores until you got that information that, okay, there is a mute, we're not going to be able to push in with the Flores drone, but something like the Capital to flush out people who are sitting in, you know, they're playing a character like Mirror, you know people are going to be playing on those windows. It seems like an opportunity for me to force them out of that little rat hole and then collapse on them, pick them off on their rotation, trying to get to safety. So, and then I like your response of saying, okay, well, we could have had a doc as well. So it seems like there's a couple, I don't want to say miss sights on those, but opportunities, I guess, that could have been there.
Oh, speaking of opportunity, there might be an opportunity for this mute to get a kill. If it seems like this Gridlock is not careful, she better watch herself. As I said, though, it seems like Thermite's already going to start making some space over in through Astro. And of course, again, having Helio playing offside is going to be top. Amez, this time over, they will bring the Jackal. I like to see that. They realize that TMU is kind of a roam-heavy sort of team, or at least they do have quite a couple operators that are going to be roaming about. With that, Bobus to take down Mr. I hope I can say this right, but Minsk. I hope I said that okay, but Minsk getting taken down. It's going to be a 5v4. Hopefully the Jackal's going to be able to kind of help out with his roaming operators. But again, this would be a great opportunity to have somebody like a Grim, like you said, a Capitan, to, you know, force people out of certain positions or stick them in corners in order to corner them and end up killing them.
A little bit of a damage coming on in, ends up deleting one of the members. Bobus on a 2-kill streak this time. Now under some heavy fire as we are getting down close to the 60-second mark in round number 3. Teams trying to break off from the other. Nothing too insane, but I mean, you got a 2-man advantage for TMU right now, and you got some damage pumped into the Jackal, and if you look at TMU's health bars, they are quite healthy, I should say. Jackal on the hunt. Another member down. This one gonna go in the pocket of Helio. Now 3 members off the... 4 members off the board as Bulbous ends up finding the triple in the round.
Yeah, I'm not sure really what Jackal is doing. It seems a little bit kind of counterproductive as you're kind of the operator that's meant to be sniffing out everybody that is roaming. But if you're downstairs and you don't see any footsteps, you know that your teammates are dying upstairs. What wouldn't it make most sense to help out your teammates, or at least to get close enough so that you're able to steps of, you know, the defenders and be able to kind of kill them off like that? Regardless, maybe I'm speaking too much, a little bit too harshly. Julian is gonna get another pick. Is gonna be onto actually. But with 10 seconds remaining, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do much. Not only that, but he does not have a hold of bomb. Fortunately, he drops the hat, and Strike Me Oppose is going to strike him in the body, killing him on descent. And with that, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for the defenders, but unfortunately for the attackers, they will lose the 3rd round. TMU will take the lead.
There we go, another one on the board for TMU. Now 2-1 going into our 4th round. Where are we going to go? Now, finally down to the basement. Hopefully, maybe. Yes, absolutely. It looks like we do lock into that basement site, and we'll see how they play. I'm interested to see how we approach this. You know, this is kind of the main staples site for a lot of your ranked play, I feel like, that you end up seeing in the strong majority of the ranks up until, I don't know, maybe Emerald. You know, everyone's like, oh, we load on a chalet, we gotta go to the basement site. It's the one to hold. I'm very confused as to why, but I mean, you know what? I can't say very confused. I like the basement site every now and then.
I will say what surprises me, well, not necessarily what surprises me, because typically Mira is used almost every single site. And I'm not gonna lie.
5 seconds left.
Well, obviously TMU isn't gonna ban Mira, especially considering the fact that they're gonna be utilizing her every opportunity they can. The Azami ban makes a lot of sense, but I will not lie. I guess the Mira ban would have definitely hurt these boys a lot more than, well, I guess we'll never know because they won't be able to play Azami. But I definitely think that some, like, this is probably the most I've ever seen a Mira get played. Having her basically formulated into every single defensive setup is smart. I like Mira on this map, and this is one of the few maps where she's basically able to be used on every single site. I wouldn't really say that she can really be used upstairs on the top floor, but anyways, they used her and it worked. So we'll see if it's gonna work this time around as well. Just having those black mirrors is definitely gonna be a kind of like a thorn in the side of people, especially when you're trying to push in from certain areas, which would also be a great opportunity to bring a Monty if you're trying to get up close and personal to those mirrors to be able to smash them. Unfortunately, opportunity missed because Windsor has not picked Monty once. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, we're in round 4 right now, and so far have not seen a single Monty pickup.
Yeah.
Are we, is it an us thing? Do we just like the Monty a lot? Caught in the rotation hole. Actually, the rotation hole wasn't big enough for you. Uniquely, gonna end up getting the opening pick here of the round for you, Windsor. Now man advantage for the offense. This is good. They haven't had the man advantage since the first round, which was the round that they ended up walking away with.
Well, if that pattern continues, then the team that ends up getting the opening pick will typically win out the round. Hopefully that's the case. We can tie the score out. But yeah, no Monty being used. It's definitely not just us. Monty is a very powerful operator. It just seems like Windsor hasn't really been able to, I guess, calculate them in their defensive or offensive setup. But anyways, I digress. Moving forward, it seems like they've already started to make their way in through this not the top floor, but the main floor over in through kitchen. Having that hatch open will be great. Basically, denial is off those walls, and now hopefully Thermite will be able to open up that elbow wall. Helio, though, unfortunately, is going to take down Mr. Sonic. I hope that's okay. And with that, we're back at a 4v4 with about 40 seconds remaining. Malusi, who was kind of teetering around those back stairs, that kind of west main, is no longer going to be there. She's going to be back in sight, holding down the fort as best as she can.
30 seconds now on the clock. Time is ticking down. TMU just needs to bunker down, just needs to hold out. Wall getting breached open now. Here comes the execution from you, Windsor. The push in is there. One it down. Helio's gonna end up finding the pick on the Canadian before they can finish off Bulbous. Bulbous still sitting on the ground. The plant is down. Does Minsk end up getting it? Yes, they do. Ends up falling in response. Helio getting the triple kill in the round, only to fall to Minsk in the trap. There's the pickup, but the diffuser is down to V3 situation. 30 seconds on it. The mirror gets spotted out, and so does, well, the Ram.
Well, one can say is remember, the Capitan is also above watching the hatch, which is going to be amazing if he does. Well, I was going to say it's going to be amazing if he's going to try and die this for as long as possible, but it seems like Kaid is not worried at all, despite Capitan being on top of the hatch. It seems like no matter what, he will get killed anyways, and that bomb will become defused. So no matter the opening pick, I guess TMU is just better when it comes to the defense. The retake was absolutely great, but I think a crucial part was having that downed, that DBNO'd Kaid get picked up and back in action.
So I guess we can say the curse is lifted. I mean, round number 4, you get opening pick, you can still win the round. TMU now 3-1 going on in to the 5th round. They got the refresh and they are back on the 2nd floor site that they feel oh so confident about. And there it is, the operator I was waiting to see in action. It's Scopos, ladies and gentlemen.
You're getting to see that one too often, honestly. To be honest, I don't know. I've played rank. I haven't played rank too much, so that's the only really time that I ever really get to see her in action, and feel like it wasn't really that spectacular. I feel like she's not that crazy of an operator, at least the way that I had thought she would be. But anyways, I digress. What I found a little bit interesting is that the boys on TMU opt to go upstairs instead of kitchen. I feel like usually it's always the rotation of like kitchen, bar. Honestly, basement almost never gets played. It's usually kitchen, bar, and then it ends up being upstairs. But it seems like upstairs is the first one. It seems like they're not going to touch the kitchen at all. I like Chalet only because of the fact that it's one of those maps that you can kind of rotate through every single site, and we get to see every single bomb site played. But well, it seems like for TMU they're going to be going for a little bit of the non-linear route. Regardless, though, same setup as basically before, but like you said, the Scopos is something that's going to be new. We'll see if Scopos will be an operator that will take the boys on Windsor by surprise, but it seems like everything is taking them by surprise, considering that they're down 2 rounds right now.
Well, it definitely took me by surprise. I kind of want to see what this Scopos is capable of. And you said you haven't been too overwhelmed by it, and I'm going to be honest, I don't have enough time actually seeing the Scopos in action other than the jokes of walking up behind Scopos, placing a claymore behind it and seeing haha go spawn in, or when you do spawn in you get to see. Speaking of spawning in, yeah, we'll see you next round, Canadian no name. Boba's gonna get the opening pick on this one. Defense is up, the man advantage yet again. It's been going back and forth between Helio and Bulbous when it isn't Windsor. Another one, it's going to be a Nitro. Strike me a pose and send Sonic on out of here. That is 2 members of the offense down with only a minute and a half left on the clock.
You can definitely tell which operators have a lot of fragging potential, especially on TMU. Talking about Helio and Bulbous, like you said, we've been kind of flipping the switch on who ends up getting the opening pick, either Bulbous or Helio, and they always seem to be ones that are roaming around and holding down the fort in places that aren't just sight. But as I say that, Bulbous gets taken down along with Mr. Nick, as Uniquely will take him down. And striking a pose, better be careful. Instead, he's going to strike a pose on his deathbed, as Julian is going to take him down with another operator that he's taken down. And the advantage that TMU ended up having previously is going to be no longer, as we're left in a 2v3. Windsor does have the man advantage with just under a minute remaining. They do have a hold of bomb. Let's see how well they're going to be able to utilize time and see how well they're going to be able to get into sight, not despite, with them having that man advantage, or if TMU are going to hold on longer and are going to be able to disable them from getting anything done as the round continues.
Yo, 3 members, losing 3 members in less than 30 seconds doesn't feel good when you have that 2-man advantage, but actually able to turn it around, keep things nice and even. 20 seconds left on the clock. Make or break it time. The last time we saw you, Windsor, try to push in those final moments with that even advantage, things were kind of all over the place. I guess we could say very chaotic. 10 seconds down. Can they get the plant? Julian's able to find actually Helio trades out uniquely. Down goes Julian's though. Helio ends up finding it, and that is the 4th one on the board. TMU leading the charge in their defensive rounds.
Yep, Helio absolutely on a heater. Playing Frost, literally the crutch of TMU, getting first picks, being able to basically just outfrag and outplay everybody. That was a great round towards the end from Windsor, but unfortunately, I don't know, the walls just crumbled, and obviously as time starts to dwindle, you have no choice but to go for the plant or go for your kills. You can't really think about too much, and unfortunately, again, Windsor losing out these rounds. They ended up having the advantage there, and it just didn't end up working out, which is a little bit not devastating, but it's definitely saddening, because even with an advantage like that, it seems like TMU are able to disable them and quite well. This will be the final round before split, and like I said, I feel like Chalet is a map not really necessarily defender sided or attacking sided. I think it really comes down to the chemistry and just the overall players themselves. If you're able to win your ones, because this is a map, like I said, that everybody knows off the back of the back of their hand. Off rip, you know, the call-outs, you know, everything, and I think that it's like a little bit disappointing that Windsor aren't able to react and aren't able to play nearly as good together as TMU does, but maybe we'll see if it's really just the defensive side of Chalet.
Oh, we need to see a little bit of a shake-up. One thing I did notice is we do get that Flores. I brought it up a little bit earlier because it does feel like Windsor is finding it difficult to... I'm going to hold off right now. Are we going to see it? Yeah, pick a side and see if you can get the Nitro on one, or just run on out of there. I don't blame you for that one. But what I was mentioning was, I feel like Windsor was... I don't want to say struggling, but finding it difficult to really flush out the members of TMU who are still sitting back on site, not able to really knock down a lot of the utility. I like the floors there. The one thing that holds me off, though, is that mute. Bobus has been picking up this mute, and I feel like just that character in the game, that operator, is able to provide so much value through just place down mute jam or walk away. You know, I can throw it in a doorway and call it a day. You're not going to be able to get a Flores drone through there anytime soon. You're not going to be able to get a regular drone through there anytime soon. You're denying information. You're denying any sort of gadgets. And, you know, I mean, clearly it's working for TMU. Do we see a breach come in? Are we going to open up this second floor? We have a minute and a half left to go, and nobody has fallen yet.
There has been a little bit of damages coming off the board, but not enough really to shake up either sides of the team. Of course, we are going to have none other than Helio holding down top Mez like it's his 9 to 5, and he does it absolutely amazing as well, but not enough pressure coming in from Windsor. I'm not sure why they're taking their time, but of course, you know, maybe they want to scope out everything. They want to make sure that everything is all right. But I would say the first course of action would be to get rid of this shield. The Flores needs to start coming in. If there's a mute jammer on it, figure out a way to get rid of it. Anyways, as I'm speaking, Helio will get taken down. A 4v5 is what we're looking at. TMU are going to be the man disadvantage, but we'll see how long that lasts. Is Windsor going to be able to take advantage of this extra player, or are they going to fall flat just like last year?
40 seconds left on the clock. Man advantage for Windsor. They still have some good levels on those HP bars, I gotta say, but it's going to come down to the execution. Now with 30 seconds left, it's, I'm gonna say soon to be go time. It is go time already for Windsor, but the site is castled off. You can't just drop in down the hatch. We saw what happened last time. Dropping in now with 15 seconds to go. There's mirror set up. There's castle walls. The gridlock is down, and Bulbus finds one. Nick Levin finds another. Bulbus finds a double kill. Here in the round, 2 members of the offense remaining. Bulbus gets traded out. Sonic ends up finding him with 2 seconds left. 1 second left. No plant. Defenders take it, and that is a 5-1 opening for TMU.
Yes. Well, congratulations to TMU. As for Windsor, again, time starts to tick, and I mentioned this, when time continues to run out, you're not able to cross your T's, you're not able to dot all of your I's. And unfortunately, that gridlock there being in a really good position to take site, but just obviously there's no cam kind of watching a blue flank or anything like that. Not even putting down your gridlocks at all. With little time, you're not able to use all of your utility. You're not able to use what you have in front of you. And with that, Windsor unfortunately fell flat because you're taking your time, which is fine. You want to take your time, completely up to you. But at the same time, if you are going to take your time, you better make sure that you have a cam on every single corner. You make sure that all of your utility is being used and it's being used to the fullest of its abilities, because if not, you're going to find yourself in a stalemate where you've kind of taken space, but it's not good enough space to really get the round moving forward. You gotta be the one to take initiative. You gotta be the one to kind of put your foot first, especially if you do end up having, an advantage. But anyways, that's gonna be unfortunately. The boys on Windsor now are gonna have to come back to a 5-1 deficit. We'll see how well they do as their first round on defense. And one thing I want to point out before I pass it off to you is, again, no Monty.
No, Monty. You got your Valkyrie, though. That's pretty cool, right? Uniquely on the Valkyrie. I'm excited to get that information off in there. And yeah, TMU is kind of coasting right now. Helio, one of our entry fraggers, ends up getting knocked on out of there for the opening pick. Windsor needs to win every round, okay? Every round just to get tied back up with TMU. TMU, sure, they have some room to play around. Pretty sure that's why we ended up seeing the Scopos back when they were on defense, just to see how he felt in a little bit competitive play. Eyeball in the breach, seeing if we can find another trade out here. Windsor just gonna do the best to hold down sight. Now, something I believe it was Canadian who ended up stating about the meta in this slower pacing, destroy a lot of the gadgets, find the picks, find the Ash right there who pokes on him. Bulbous, yep, good night. That's a shotgun to the face for you. He said, yeah, it seems to be everybody assuming that this is the way the meta's supposed to be played. Nice and slow pace, but, it's just not. You can still play that fast-paced, action-packed, run-and-gun Rainbow Six Siege that we all know and love over the years, and I think that really stood out to me.
Of course, the 10-second meta is not for everybody. I've definitely seen teams that crumble at the seams when it comes to the final last seconds of the round. Unfortunately, Strike Me Opposed is going to have to strike himself an ace if he's going to want to close out this round, because Windsor on their first defensive round are absolutely electric. Taking down their 2 top frags on TMU first right off the hop was nothing short of spectacular. And so with that, a 69 HP Thatcher is going to have to figure out what he's going to do in these last minutes. They do know that he is main stairs. They have a cam on him, and that's going to be great as he takes down Uniquely. The job is almost done. We're nearly about halfway there, and about a minute remains. This is still definitely winnable. I've seen people come back from this, but I will point out the Val cams might put him in a bad situation if he walks into the wrong type of spot. A yellow ping could honestly cause him his entire death and their first offensive round. With that,
verticality. Oh yeah,
that's how it goes.
There's a telltale sign. Gamers don't look up, gamers don't look down. And seeing the hole in the floor that is not even just barely over a foot wide. Yeah, okay, good luck. A great pickup there to close out the round. Windsor finding a little bit of momentum right there, getting back, and I'm sorry, I should say, getting another one on the board since the very first round where they were able to strip one away from TMU. Let's keep this momentum going. Show us what you got. Maybe, Windsor's just a defensive-sided team. They looked really clean. I can't deny that. Now we got to keep it up. Show me you're not a one-site wonder. Show me that wasn't a fluke. We're going down to the basement here. Very interesting. I'm just gonna curveball it right there, because I was thinking a lot about what you were saying before about, normally we see kind of the kitchen and bar and upstairs and second floor. And to me, it kind of resonates in that what we were talking about a little bit before we even got into these games at all, of the what if we just throw the curveball, on these maps that we've seen over the years for so long. We know what operators work well. We know what strategies work well. Let's hit them with something that they're not used to seeing all the time. Let's hit them with the offsite and see how they react. And I feel like it's good momentum killers to do that.
Oh, for sure, 100%. I do still think that it's a little bit, it's as if you're kind of going like CC and cash on Clubhouse first. It's definitely, I mean, it happens, but it like
It's
rarely
possible, yeah.
ever happens. Even something like on Clubhouse, you go gym, you go basement, and then you decide to go bar. Most of the time, people will end up going cash if they win the first two. But anyways, it seems like that won't be the case. Both of these teams are going to utilize the basement floor to the most of their abilities, and with that, we are also going to have a little bit of a bandit trick coming on. So we'll see how far. It seems like he's already gotten down one thermite charge, only one left, and I'm not sure if either of these attacking operators do end up having the hard breach secondaries, which would be great for kind of getting hatches, but maybe not. We'll see though. The buck could be a possibility. But anyways, as we approach about 2 minutes remaining in the round, Thermite is gonna have to start getting. I mean, nearly gets taken out by that grenade, but hopefully he'll be able to get this wall open to kind of get things moving. And as I say, that Helio will be the one to get things moving on. And both Thermite charges down. You're out of luck.
That's unlucky. Yeah. It's just a rough one because you got to realize we just spent half of the round on this main breach with 4 members and got nowhere. That is a massive win if you're Windsor. To just waste that much time of the offense. Yes, you're down a member, but it felt like that one member for a minute and a half. Come on, you can't deny that that's not a good trade right there. A minute 15 seconds left on the clock. This is still a little bit of an uphill battle, but also not. Remember, the offense needs to push towards the defense, and well, now we're all tied up.
I was literally about to mention this. I was going to say they have a buck on their team. Typically, we would see a ram, especially attacking basement. Typically, a ram is played. You can open up the floors to basically deny any sort of bandit tricking. And I'm wondering where the buck was in that instance. They should, basically drone out main and fireplace and see if it's clear for them to kind of take a little bit of that, main floor to be able to kind of deny that bandit tricking. But regardless, that was 2 minutes ago. We're approaching the final 30 seconds, and we'll see if the boys on Windsor are going to be able to hold this down any longer. Uniquely, getting a 2-piece is going to take down Mr. Striking the Opposed, and with that, the boys on TMU are going to be at a man disadvantage. With 20 seconds remaining, it seems like this round might be in their favor. Again, maybe the defensive side of Chalet is really all it takes. They are where there is going to be somebody over by Connector, but Sonic to take down Mr. Nick, and it just seems like the kills are coming out in big masses for the boys on Windsor as they find themselves those 4 final ones. 3 actually, sorry, to clean up their second defensive round. Definitely a 180 switch from their offense.
Bring it on back. Windsor hype in chat. We are now 5-3. 2 more to close the gap for you, Windsor, to tie us on up here in our very first match of the night. Remember, this is a best of 3. We have so much Rainbow Six Siege coming at you guys still. And now we're going to head on over to, did I see kitchen? Oh no, we went over bar.
No,
it is kitchen. We are kitchen. Okay.
Hey, we see all 4 maps or all 4 sites. See, I'm telling you. This is like a luxury of this map, is that most of the time you're able to kind of see all the sites getting played. TMU didn't want to use this yet, but it seems like Windsor has other plans. No Mira though, which I find crazy because Mira's definitely strong when it comes to kitchen. At least typically when I cast it, there's usually a Mira getting played here.
They have Tubarão instead. I find this very interesting. I'm not against it. I'm just interested. Like you mentioned, I think the Mira's a really strong operator, but, clearly you're picking this up for a reason, and my only reason I can really think of is hatch gameplay. You understand there's probably going to be an Ace or Hibana who's going to be playing on those hatches. That Tubarão's going to come in quite handy. I mean, something that can be utilized differently than a Kaid would. So maybe it'll buy you a little bit extra time. I'm just not... I haven't been the biggest Tubarão lover, I'll be honest. Deimos, on the other hand, though, I like the Deimos a lot right now. I feel like he kind of brings it back to that, run and gun R6 mentality I was talking about a little bit before. Now we have this offensive cavi running you down.
What I'm surprised is that no Thermite. We have a Hibana over at Thermite, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like
what about Monty?
This is a miss. This is an absolute no Monty. The last
9
9
rounds.
rounds, no Monty. Which is this is what I'm saying. Like I feel
It's
like
got to
it
be a
just
team
comes
thing. It's
down.
got to be a team thing.
It has to be, and I also feel like it just has to be kind of like the level of gameplay. But I was gonna say, typically, if people are playing kitchen, usually they have that hatch open to have an easy access back down to site if they end up getting caught in a bad situation, which makes me wonder why would you bring a Hibana? Like thermite would just be way better, especially for getting that main like dining wall opened up, which is typically why people play a Mira because then they're able to kind of watch the wall. But that's not the case, and I don't know why. And with that, a Buck is gone. That is kind of like somebody that you would definitely use upstairs. Even somebody like a Ram would be good. But anyways, he's taken down early off, and so TMU are at the back foot. Windsor, though, I was gonna say Windsor might be put in a bad situation, and so they are. Julian, who was their top frag, is now taken down. It's gonna be a 4v4 with just about a minute remaining left in the round. Let's see if TMU are gonna be able to bounce back, even though they started off at a man deficit. Are they aware that there is a Jagger here?
Always expect at least one person over by piano. You know, I feel like that's just a notorious rat spot when you're playing bank. I'm not bank, bar or kitchen. Yeah, I put it together. I'm thinking about bank. I'm already moving on to bank, guys. We're done with this one. Let's go to bank. No, when you have somebody playing that first floor, either first floor site, I feel like playing piano is just so essential, and you just got to know somebody's going to be nearby, whether on top of piano or just right behind it. And sure enough, right behind it was the answer. Second floor control is just so essential, and you brought up the Ram, and I was thinking about it last round, I'm thinking about it this round, and I just haven't seen either of those rounds. Sure, we have the Buck, and I think that's a great substitution, but you know, why not just open the whole floor instead of part of it? You know, all at once. 1 to 3, 10 seconds go, and triple kill for Canadian. Time ticking down. 2 members of the defense are remaining. Do we get the plant down? Helio does not have the diffuser. Windsor, another one on the board.
I think the biggest thorn in the side of TMU right now is the people that are playing offsite. People that are playing the vertical above is definitely the biggest issue that is stopping TMU from continuing on with the momentum that they had during the first half of the game. One thing you gotta worry about is players that are not playing in sight, especially on a site like that, which 100% you are going to have people playing above. No matter what, you are at least gonna have 2 people, if not 3, which they had 3 people upstairs. They had 1 person playing in the bedroom. They had 1 person playing in that office, and then they had somebody else in piano. That you shouldn't overlook that. And I mean, I'm not sure if the droning isn't really happening, but whatever's not happening with TMU, it has to kind of start happening because it seems like they're just getting picked off from people that aren't even in sight. They're not really making their way in through sight, and when they are, it's way too late. I mean, we saw last round Helio was down in sight, but he didn't have bomb. And once you drop bomb, that's it. You're gonna, most of the time, if you're a smart player, you're gonna play that bomb. Unless, you know, the situation kind of changes, then I'm sure. But most of the time, if you end up killing the attacker that ends up having bomb, you're gonna hold that bomb.
Yeah,
because no matter what, oh sorry,
no, you're
but
good.
No matter what, you're gonna have to eventually get it if the round comes down to that, which it seems like every single round is coming down to the wire.
Exactly. When you're on defense, the clock is your best friend. When you're on offense, the clock is your arch enemy. You know, you could have 10 enemy people on the enemy team, but that clock is the one thing that's going to be your deciding factor on if you make it or break it. And, you know, I see it a lot throughout a comp, through leagues, in pro play, in casuals, in ranked. It doesn't matter where you see it. Everybody just kind of falls victim to the clock. On occasion, quite often, whichever it may be. Slowly but surely, we have to be making our way towards sight. Slowly but surely, we need to whittle away the members, sure, but the utility that is around so that when we are pushing in, if we are going to play that 10-second meta rule, that we are making it quick and decisive. I don't recommend getting on your camera there, Sonic. I don't think it's a good idea. Get to a safe location. You know, it's kind of that walking across the road with your phone out thing. Don't do it.
Absolutely not, especially by Astro. I mean, come on, guys. Or Solar, sorry. I mix it up with Solar and Astro, but that's a little bit depressing. Regardless, Boba's going to get another kill. It is going to be out to Julian, and along with that, Windsor, another one falls on their side. Or no, not Windsor. TMU. Somebody else falls on the side of TMU, and so although TMU does still have the man advantage, actually they're going to have a two-man advantage, as Helio is absolutely no longer here to play. These last 3 rounds have been an up-road battle for them, and it hasn't stopped. We'll see if the boys in Windsor are going to be able to hold this out. It is going to be a 2v4, but it is still winnable. A minute 10 remaining. The boys on TMU have a lot of time to work with, and Windsor need to get a little bit cheeky. However, Mr. Canadian tries. He gets one, but unfortunately falls to Helio. Now we're left with Mr. Minx in a 1v3.
Great refrag coming in from Helio. Like you mentioned, though, the 1v3, truly, the offense just has to be slow and patient. Otherwise, you run into situations like that. Actually ends up going down to Minsk, but the refrag is there. That's going to put it away. And TMU take us to match point.
Confused because I swear that there was a Val cam or an Echo cam in Astra or Solar. Okay, maybe it's just me, but like I think that there was one, and if there was one, if 4 of your teammates are dead, I feel like there's literally 2 people on Solar stairs. No way, unless the camera was shot, then my bad. But there are 2 people on Solar stairs. I mean, you see a flashback coming. If your friends or your teammates are telling you there's 2 people Solar, why would you run in the direction of the door instead of in the direction of the washroom? I don't know. Maybe the cam was on. Maybe there was on that cam. I have no clue. But anyways, like you said, TMU bringing us to match point. Windsor, 2 more rounds. You're bringing us to OT. They've done great so far. That last round was a little bit rocky, but I believe in them. We can bring us to OT. I wanted to go as long as possible. Let's see if Windsor are going to be able to win these final rounds, or if TMU are finally done and they just want to get this night over with.
We're going to stay up on the second floor. Now, this is going to be a very good one for TMU to take away. If they get this, they move on to their map choice, which, if I need to remind everyone, is Bank. That one, the other B, Borders later. Bank, which is their best map and Windsor's worst map. So right now, TMU is really just, holding Windsor at gunpoint, saying this is it. And we're going to have confidence. We're going to have momentum backing us going into our preferred map. I think they planned this one out pretty well, and the map picks, and we're like, cool, you know what? Take us to Chalet. We'll get the warm-up game in. We'll hold you on the map of your choice. And then we're going to come in and smack you on our own map and just put this away in 2. Windsor needs this. They need these 2 right here to just hold that momentum and hold us to at least give everybody that little bit of insight that, yes, we will be going to 3. We got this. No problem. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how it plays out.
You're absolutely correct. This map, I think, will be decisive for Windsor, especially if TMU do end up stepping to the playing field and basically giving us what we're expecting, a really good Bank game. I mean, anything can happen. Maybe Windsor is just, the GOATs, and they just end up, overcoming their, really bad style on Bank. Because if you guys don't know, and if you're looking at the stats of either team, TMU's best map happened to be Bank, and Windsor's worst map also happened to be Bank. So, I mean, you can kind of get a little bit of an insight on who might be favored to win either map. But with that, we're at a 4v4 playing field as either 1 person on either side both get taken down. 3 kill mines are now gone because Helio just absolutely sees them right off the hop, nearly taking somebody down from vertical, although that won't be the case this time around. We're still going to 4v4 with about a minute 15 remaining. Let's see if TMU are going to start to make waves, but as I say that, it seems like Uniquely is the one to make any sort of waves as he takes down 2, but will get quickly refragged by Mr. Helio.
60 seconds left on the clock. Helio is low, but there are 3 members of Windsor as well still on the board. Time ticking down. Windsor just needs to chill. Just play this one slow. They see the push in. Do they knock one down? They do find Helio, not the one who I thought was going to go down. Sonic, though, finishes off Nick Levin. And there we go. Windsor getting us close, bringing us back a little bit. It's 6-5, but still match point.
What happened? There we go. We're back in action. And yes, that round wasn't too bad. Windsor need 1 more. And then we will be at not match point. We will be at OT. which I'm happy for. I love bringing us to OT. Well, I can't bring us to OT. I can only cast us and hope that we go OT. But anyways, going down to the basement, taking a look at this setup. I'm curious to see if TMU are going to be able to utilize Buck a little bit better, because as they went downstairs last time, Windsor, I mentioned that usually they're having some sort of vertical. You'll usually have somebody playing above to kind of stop any sort of tricking. A ram is much better for this because you don't physically have ram. Will get rid of it, and maybe it's just the gun choice. Maybe these players prefer the gun, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm taking the R4C every single time. That's just me. But not only that, I think her ability just makes
It's just
a
a
lot
good gun.
more sense. Yeah, it really is. Buck's gun is amazing too. I won't lie. I love
Right.
Buck. Buck is actually my
It's just
main.
the recoil.
But I will say, in a situation like this, Ram is infinitely more useful and more versatile. We'll see if TMU are going to be able to kind of evolve and move forward and kind of change their playstyle to fit as they did lose last time they came here.
You know, I feel like when you look at the R4C on Ash and Ram and compare it to Buck's weapon, the recoil gap is ridiculous. You know, in sort of the difference between the two is just absolutely atrocious. Does one get open? The Tubarão ends up securing it and allowing, you know, maybe that's what that pairing's for right there. Bandit plus Tubarão guarantees the denial, but those were only the can openers. They still have the thermite, and the can opener still went off. The bandit charge didn't get down. It got frozen, didn't it?
Yeah, but I think you can put it back down after. But anyways, I guess, or I'm not too sure how it works. Because typically, I don't do none of that tricking. I'm not really the type of tricky person. But anyways, finally, TMU are going to be able to open up this wall, something that they couldn't do last time. This is already much better than their previous offense on here. So you approach just about under 2 minutes remaining. Uniquely off-site, of course. He has the Scopos. Makes a lot of sense. We'll see if he's able to get any cheeky picks from this, or if he's, you know, going to fall flat. With that, Jaeger will be the one to fall flat as he gets taken down by Helio.
Canadian No Name is down. We have a minute and a half to go in this round. Can TMU pull it away? They have the one up. The Jaeger is off the board. But Windsor needs to get the wipe. They need this to take us into overtime. Honestly, they're so much further off than they were the previous time they attacked the basement, since at this minute and a half mark, we didn't have this wall open. We had to completely reformulate our entire attack strategy, approach from a whole different angle, and that was a massive wrench on the side for TMU. Now, Bulbous ends up finding Julian's. 60 seconds left on the clock. 2 members of the defense are down, and TMU has everything behind them.
Uniquely was being cheeky by those West Lane stairs. We'll see if he's gonna be able to pick anybody off. Minx is gonna take down Helio. That is a big player for the boys on TMU. Bobus is also extremely low, and there we go. There comes Uniquely with the flank, along with Minx with another kill. A 5v3 turns into a 2v3 as TMU seem like the walls are crumbling down, and they're becoming increasingly harder to keep up. Seems like Thermite walks in, but unfortunately he's gonna get taken down. And along with that, the boys on Windsor will clean up that round. That 2-man deficit means absolutely nothing to them. We're going OT, baby, and they aren't out just yet.
You know, where I come from, we call that a caster's curse, and I will extend my sincerest apologies to TMU. Yes, maybe I should... I can't even say I counted out Windsor. You know, it was like, okay, the momentum is there for TMU. This was going so well, and it just like, cool. Windsor's like, bam, 1, 2, 3. Ha, now we have the man advantage. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. What do I say now? You know, the part that kills me is this wasn't the first time it happened during this set. It felt like Windsor's done this already to TMU earlier in the defensive round, or even earlier in their offensive rounds. And now, already, overtime, on our very first set of the night, our very first match in this set of the night. This is going to be a long night, Bianca, let me tell you.
I want to mention one thing. I haven't seen Julian drop a kill in the last couple of rounds, but as I was looking at that, I was looking at the scoreboard and I noticed TMU is basically 2 players. It is quite literally Helio and Bobas. Everybody else has 4 kills, which I mean 4 times 3, you do the math, that's 12 kills. I believe Helio has more kills than 3 of his teammates combined. I believe he has 15, which is absolutely just, I mean, TMU could probably win this if they had, 3 other players that just got 1.
So what I'm hearing though is one of the players who has the lesser amount of kills, we put them on Monty, right?
I think
just
so.
gonna circle it back to the
We haven't seen it. This is 13 rounds, which is absolutely absurd. I can't believe it, honestly, and especially for attacking downstairs. You know how? Do you know what? Like, I don't think that one clip where it's like, you have no idea how good whoever it was.
We've
You
triggered
have
Bianca.
no idea how good Monty is, bro. You have no idea how good Monty is, especially for pushing in through that like blind side. I feel like it's like uncontested, but well,
Make a petition to the
maybe
coaches.
Maybe we won't.
Petition to the
Get 'em in,
universities. Yeah, give us Monty or give us death. You know? Clearly right now, TMU might need a Monty. 6-6, first 60 seconds off the clock, and this is going to be one of those slow burns, it feels like. TMU understanding, hey, we had a nice lead. They came back on the defense. They're on defense still. We need to approach this patiently. Helio says, cool, let me just keep being an entry frag and knock another one down uniquely off the board. A minute and a half left to go. Halfway through round number 13. There we go. I can count.
Absolutely love Helio. He is like a lone wolf, but with that Sonic taking down Mr. Nick, it's going to be neck and neck as we are going to be in a 4v4, but in terms of HP, it seems like Windsor's going to be winning, but then as I say that, they are going to be winning in man count, but there we go. There is the Capitan, an absolutely amazing operator, and I like to see him be utilized like that because I don't like him. I don't like seeing him overlooked. I think Capitan was amazing, and as well as that, it seems like the bomb might just get planted. A C4 is gonna get tossed, but nothing is gonna connect the bomb one more time. Helio is gonna be upstairs in the kitchen, and unfortunately, he's not gonna be able to help out his teammate too much. He is gonna hatch drop, making it a 1v2 as he's gonna take down Julian, but at 14 HP, what is he able to do? However, Siege being a one-shot headshot game, if you end up getting that headshot, well, then you'll end up getting your kill as long as it registers properly. We'll see as we hit about the 35-second mark what Helio is going to do with this time.
Attackers have recovered
30 seconds left to go. Diffuser going down. Of course, it's a bait. Goes for the pre-fire. Doesn't end up finding it, but wraps. And Helio ends up getting the triple kill, tied up 1-1. But the HP bars would say otherwise. The tuber out full. The buck not at all.
No.
Down he goes. The buck ends up finding it. Helio getting another one, getting the quad, and putting us one up for TMU in overtime.
I cannot believe this. I'm telling you right now, give Helio MVP award. I literally do not care. You could not make this up. This kid's got 19 kills. He's about to drop a 20 bomb. He's about to drop a 20 bomb. I wish this was a joke. I genuinely wish this was a joke. He is absolutely insane, and I'm not even gonna hold you. I was like, watch this. He's gonna end up winning it. I don't know how he plays, how he thinks about everything, but I was like, and I literally noticed him. I'm like, he's literally in kitchen. Like, he had the hatch open. We saw him open it, but I mean, like, with that little time, like, what is he really gonna be able to do as a 1v? It's like a 1v3 now. You got almost no time. This guy hatch dropped. They could have swung that out. They didn't.
Right.
They didn't though, and that is how he won that, man. He plays it so smart, and he takes the risks when they need to be taken. He's not here baiting. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He is literally the definition of alpha wolf. This guy's got aura, and it's literally seeping through his pores. Like, it's actually insane watching this guy play.
You know, I'm going to give credit over where credit is due. Strike me a pose on the Capitao, trading out his life for the fire kill with the bolt. I like that. I like that last round. He takes the one and calls it a day. That's the way it'd be. Overtime match point for TMU. They get this one. They're moving on to their map of choice. And I mean, we don't have to, you know, if you are just now joining us, TMU had a very decisive defensive side, but honestly, so did Windsor. Now TMU back on the defense, took us upstairs. We'll see what Windsor ends up doing to crack this open. TMU showed us that they could do it. What's your response?
Well, I think it's interesting that TMU decided to go to the top floor first because they actually, the only defensive round that they lost was when they went upstairs for the first time. Which, I mean, they still did win everything else, but I think that it's odd that if this might be your final defensive round, you opt to, well, this will be your final defensive round no matter what. But you opt to go on the only site that you've lost. I think it's weird. You know, it's a little bit weird, but like you said, you're right. Maybe it was just a warm-up round and they weren't ready, but I definitely think that the odds, you know, the odds wouldn't necessarily be in their favor because they won every other map or at every other site perfectly fine. But anyways, I digress. I'm talking too much. A minute and a half now remaining in the map, along with a minute and a half now shaved.
A single bullet hasn't flown.
Nobody has taken damage. Not a single bullet has left the chamber of a gun. I hope that's what they are. But anyways, yeah, it seems a little bit slow paced. We'll see how Windsor decides to take their offensive. Maybe, well, it will be their last. We'll see. With that, uniquely onto Helio. That's freaking huge. I almost said the F word.
Kill leader off the board for TMU, and some damage into Nick Levin as well. Taken down to the 60-second mark. Windsor just needs to approach this one nice and collectively. They are, I guess, approaching it very calm and collectively, but it's going to get down to that go time we talked about, and Windsor was on the little bit more of a struggle end of things when it came down to that go time. You know, it felt like they weren't getting closer to sight the longer this match went. 40 seconds left, another member off the board. Nick Levin finally gets finished off. Canadian No Name ends up getting that pickup, and now we are down into the final 30 seconds. Plant going down though.
Not only is a plant going down, but a C4 is going flying. TMU is going to be at the 2-man disadvantage. And oh my god, did he just nearly shoot his own bot? That's a little bit funny. I'm not sure what that was. But anyways, Canadian is going to take down Strike. And with that, a 1v4 we commences a post-plant situation. One is going to get taken down, but swiftly refragged out. This is what I'm saying. The only round on defense the boys on TMU have lost. And they decide to go there. No sense at all.
You might have been onto something.
I mean, also the fact that maybe, you know, Helio was first picked might also be a reason why. But anyways, I'm just gonna say that it was because of the fact that, yes, it was my exact prediction.
Don't you say Helio diff.
No, it's definitely not because Helio got first picked or anything. It's most definitely because of the exact theory that I had. The only site that they lost, and it did end up being that upstairs. And now they lose it one more time. Well, now it's anybody's game. And like we said, the defensive side on Chalet this entire map has been absolutely crazy. Windsor losing their first defensive side in OT. Well, we'll see if they're going to be able to close it out this time around.
You know, I just agree entirely. It was such a difficult site to approach. Like, okay, cool. Like you mentioned already, that was the one site that they lost. But, you know, even when they turned it around and won it the next time, it didn't feel like it was decisive enough. I felt like, you know, when they went down to bar, when they were on, even in basement, it felt like they had a more cleaner win, that the opportunity could have been there for something alternative. But hey, here we are, round number 15, overtime match point. It's 7-7, and there's still no Monty. I'm just gonna point that one out there.
It's absolutely insane, man.
Mind blown for me. Okay.
No, seriously, because I'm telling you, with a Monty on the board,
it's gotta be
like,
Monty.
Teams will literally, like, that is like anything a team dreams of. Monty on the board? Are you joking? Yeah, no, but I guess not. Neither of these teams give a care in the world about Monty being playable. So
we tiptoe around that one, huh?
Yeah. Sometimes they slip out, but it's calm. Not tonight, not tonight. I'm reformed.
Strike me a pose, finding the opening frag. Canadian No Name, that looked like a little bit of a run out, a cheeky attempt coming in from the mute. Not going to be able to secure the kill onto the Hibana, but let's take a look at that HP. 4. You get breathed on right now, strike me a pose, and you'll be, you'll be doing a little bit of ragdolling around. Speaking of ragdolling, Bulbous on out of here actually ends up finding Julian's, gets trading, a little bit of trades going on, as uniquely ends up finding Strike Me a Pose, finally finishes off that Hibana. 2-2 off. Now we're 3-3 right here. A minute and a half left on the clock, and it is all evened out.
This is a great time to take Vert, I'm telling you, because they basically taken out everybody on the top floor. There is, of course, that roaming bandit, but having this buck, and not only that, but it's Helio to be able to play vertically, amazing, amazing, amazing. Guys, use your drones. Use your drones. Why are you using your guns to
Why are we
scope
droning,
stuff
guys?
out?
Sound like my
I know.
rank teammates now.
No, seriously, why are we not using drones? They're using their guns to find people. Helio is going to take down Uniquely, who has been playing absolutely amazing for the boys on Windsor. And with that, we're back at a 3v2, but seems like Sonic has other plans, equalizing out to a 2v2. He's doing great. We have just about a minute remaining. The boys on TMU do not have a hold of bomb, but I spoke too soon. Helio will get that done and over with so that they can start moving.
Oh, well, now that it's in the pocket of Helio, I mean, they just got this, right? That's what we're getting at here. It's so difficult to just get your drones around the map with these mute jammers. I feel like mute is just such a priority for a lot of teams. Frag over the railing. Not gonna be able to find anybody. I know I saw a silhouette behind the wall. I was as hopeful as they were. Helio pushing on up. Peeking the hatch, seeing if they are clear. I like the vertical play, but we're getting down to the 20-second mark. It's make or break it time right here, and they are taking us to the wire. 10 seconds left on the clock. 2 members left for both sides. The peek on the doorway. Helio takes some good damage. 5 seconds left on the clock. They need to push in. Diffuser's down. Helio is off the board. Defenders take it. Windsor take it. Game number 1.
And again, I mean, they droned out the bandit. They knew that he was those solar stairs. But why we wouldn't, be checking our corners is maybe because of the fact that there's no time left on the board. You wait till the final seconds to push, and you're not able to cross your T's. You're not able to dot your I's. And unfortunately, that is the biggest thorn on the side of TMU. A 6-1 split. Or not a 6-1 split, sorry. A 5-1 split, and the walls crumble and you lose 7-8. That's definitely one that you're gonna kick yourself for tonight if they do end up losing bank, which I don't think they would, right?
Oh, best map, worst map kind of situation. We'll end up seeing how that goes when we get there. One of the things that just stood out to me, and we brought it up a little bit, it's just playing that clock. The clock is your best friend. It is also your worst friend. Defense is best friend, offense is worst friend. Enemy, I should say, not your worst friend. Friend is still a friend, but the clock is just there, and it's just beating down, and it really showed right there in those last seconds still that TMU was biting the clock is ticking down. They have to go. And in those situations where you're just running in there and you're just trying to get control of sight, you don't get to play the methodical, clear people out in that instance. You're running in, you're falling into the hands of the defense, and in an even situation, it's not going to turn out in your favor. I'm going to say 110% of the time. You got to really hope that you're going to be able to find the defender, snap on them when they can hear you booking it from across the map. I can hear that. I got my headphones turned up. The clunk, clunk, clunk of operators just full charging right into sight. You got to find them, pick them off. It's just so much in that kind of situation.
Absolutely. You got Buck's butt cheek clapping as he's going down solar stairs. And I mean, with no time, he has no choice but to do that. Of course, they're waiting for him. They know he's coming there, and they're ready to take him head on. That's unfortunate for TMU, but it's what happens if you're not able to to utilize your time properly, which I think I will say, despite Windsor winning, I will say that I think both teams have a big issue when it comes to being able to prioritize their time throughout the rounds. There were a lot of rounds that
Right.
Windsor was just taking like really long, and like it's fine if you take long as a team if you know how to play the late game. But if you don't know how to play the late game, then it's counterproductive, because then you're taking too long and then you have to rush yourself at the end of the round, which you aren't able to collect your thoughts and are able to think rationally when the time is ticking. Well, then there you go. The round is over and you just spent 2 minutes droning for absolutely no reason, only to make your way into the map 30 seconds, and now you got 30 seconds to deal with everybody else, which is, that's just, it's not really the way that you want to play the game. And I think both teams, like I said, have to work on being able to delegate time and able to kind of work with the clock instead of having to worry about it.
Well, you don't want to rush into a sight of waiting opponents, but I know you all are waiting for out there. Game number 2. But before we get into that, we are going to take a quick intermission before jumping on in as Windsor is leading the charge 1-0 in the set. We'll be right back with game number 2 in just a few minutes.
Tap, tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel that? Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, the real back. Ooh, I'm still that. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, I guess that. The best back. Yeah, yeah. 30,000 up, I'm a pilot. Might jump out if I'm wildin'. Catch my flow, I'm so stylish. Tap, tap, real smooth. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go.
Morris, Bogart, come in. Damn it! Morris, team leader, come in! Team leader, come in!
Scopus!
I'm here. How's the hack?
I almost have the Keres data, but we need an exit.
Come on! Activating Colossus. On your mark.
Done. Let's go.
Now let's get this data back to base so we can stop the Keris region for good.
This one could be a real slobber knocker of a game.
They've got to clear out that position. Oh, no, that one through the screen as Spirit pops the head.
Managing to close it out. Spirits must know that they're there. Manages to find the kill. 2v1 Frida is low health though.
Oh, a take from Spirits in the 1-versus-1, holding onto the back of Spirits. They've traded places, but Frida has that one extra little bit to tie him.
Feels like this one has been a long time coming. Shall we show them how the UK does it, guys?
SSG sent home.
Scars came so close. Talon have fumbled at the final hurdle.
R6 Esports has taken those that love it all around the world, but never before in the UK. That changes here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Blast R6 Manchester Major. Is our 8 final teams. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our finalists.
The world champions defeated.
There's a fire sale on tournament favorites Manchester, and the underdogs are buying. A semi-final Saturday of Siege. Let's have it, Manchester!
Action from the bees. It goes in. Shotgun in hands. Oh my god. Oh my god. And it's heartbreak for Nath, but for BDS, their first shot in a year and a half at raising that trophy.
Are you ready to introduce our show match? Let's bring them up.
Get in there, Tom. Here we go. Bang!
How intimidating is that going to be having that stuck behind? It is absolutely massive.
Our champione, Mr. Tom J. Sherlock and his team. It's a pleasure and a joy to bring you all in to the final.
This is the Cinderella story, to say the least. I mean, they made themselves #1 NA, and now they find themselves here at the grand final.
BDS on the other side.
I think they are some of the best players in the world.
Go! Now let's get this data back to base so we can stop the Keris region for good.
This one could be a real slobber knocker of a game.
They've got to clear out that position. Oh, that one through the screen as Spirits pops the head.
Managing to close it out. Spirits must know that they're there. Manages to find the kill. 2v1 Frida is low health though.
Oh, what a take from Spirits! In the 1v1, holding onto the back of Spirits. They've traded places, but Frida has that one extra little bit to tie him.
Welcome to Manchester.
Feels like this one has been a long time coming. Should we show them how the UK does it, guys?
SSG sent home.
Scars came so close. Talon have fumbled at the final hurdle.
R6 Esports has taken those that love it all around the world, but never before in the UK. That changes here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Blast R6 Manchester Major. Is our 8 final teams. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our finalists.
The world champions defeated.
There's a fire sale on tournament favorites Manchester, and the underdogs are buying.
A semi-final Saturday of Siege. Let's have it, Manchester!
Action from the bees. He goes in. Shotgun in hands. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And it's heartbreak for Nath, but for BDS, their first shot in a year and a half at raising that trophy.
Are you ready to introduce our show match? Let's bring them up.
Get in there, Tom. Here we go. Bang!
How intimidating is that going to be having that stood behind? It is absolutely massive.
Our champione, Mr. Tom J. Sherlock and his team.
It's a pleasure and a joy to bring you all in to the final.
this is the Cinderella story, to say the least. I mean, they made themselves #1 NA, and now they find themselves here at the grand final.
BDS on the other side.
I think they are some of the best players in the world.
Manchester, are you ready? One more time, let's bring up a team to the stage.
The job isn't finished. Can you do this?
100% we can. We're just gonna keep proving people wrong.
Against the Solis, the fate of the intel. Friday, holding up for the blood.
If you didn't believe in us, I love you. Let's go.
Tap, tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you...
Call the police, we're robbing a bank. It's on to game number 2. Windsor going off against TMU. Windsor leading the charge. If you are just now joining us, they a lot of back and forth in that last one over on Chalet, and I mean a lot of back and forth, okay? TMU came out swinging right out of the gate on their defensive rounds, going into the half 5-1, but Windsor responded in kind, took us to overtime, won it in the 3 overtime, took us all the way, and that was exciting. That was a very exciting match, and I'm very excited for the next one. And if you don't know who I am, well, I'm Zach Vexel. Look at that, read it on the screen, or just listen to the sound of my voice, and I'm joined by Bianca. How are you feeling after that last one?
Woo! If you guys were here for map 1, you guys definitely missed an insane game. Hopefully, Bank is going to be just as exciting as Chalet was, because, I mean, I'm feeling pumped up, especially after that last game, and I'm sure you are too, just judging by your voice. So hopefully, both of these teams will give us a great show for the second map coming around.
Absolutely. And Bank, I mean, you're telling me you're an expert on Bank. So lay it on me. Obviously Monty's, right? Monty's got to be a definite. I think we've gone over that one a few times.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Operators.
Especially if you're pushing down basement, like
There you go, yeah.
we need get the Monty off the board. If they're gonna keep the Monty on, then play him, because like I said, y'all missed a crazy game last game. We went the full 15 rounds. No Monty. Absolutely no Monty. So hopefully the tables will turn as we move on to map 2, which will be Bank. Which, oh my god, the bans are already done, and Monty is off the board. A buck and a Hibana over a Monty, a Dokkaebi, Ying, even. I mean, the Hibana makes sense. Okay, fine.
No, the Hibana, yeah,
But a
the
buck?
hatches.
Yeah, but a buck.
But I don't think I suppose it's interesting, and I can understand the Valkyrie, a lot of locations to place those cameras, a lot of information. The Azami, we saw that one in the last one. We talked a little bit about that one as well. This does mean the Fenrir is available and is going to have those F-Not mines for information, or, I gotta say, I think the big thing I'm concerned about with this Fenrir being on the board is, after watching that last match, after watching round number 1 between these two teams, how can you play slow in a round, try to go in the last 30 seconds, and there's F-Nat mines all over the site? Do you see the issue I'm seeing here, Bianca? Because I feel like it's gonna be a thing.
Well, we'll see if it ends up being... Oh, okay, somebody might just be running on the spot, but anyways... I digress. Hopefully this game they're gonna be playing it a little bit faster. I was talking about last game how it seems like the teams just seemed to be really slow and not able to really organize their time properly. As I say that, I think that person that was lagging ended up leaving the game, so that's gonna be unfortunate. But hopefully they will end up coming back. Others might have a couple of difficulties. TMU already starting off on the back foot as it is going to be a 4v5. No bullets have been fired yet though.
Gonna play it on out as a 4v5. You know what? I play these kind of situations myself as well. It doesn't matter if I'm playing comp. You know, we take the 4v5s, we'll take the 3v5s. I don't care if I'm a man down. We're gonna run it down as hard as we possibly can. 60 seconds off the clock, and you know, like you said, still not crazy amount of action. TMU still trying to figure out how they want to breach this one. Hey, you know, you don't got to worry about the man down situation if you knock a man down yourself. Uniquely, good night, goodbye. First one on the board of the set, and it's in the pocket of TMU's Strike Me a Pose. You know, here's something I see with our lovely member of TMU not here. They kind of can't be our top fragger, right? You know?
Oh god. Oh my gosh. Actually, yeah, you're right.
Can't top frag if you're gone.
Helio was absolutely on fire last game. We'll see if he's going to be any better this time around. I mean, it would be kind of hard to beat exactly what he was last game, because last game he was just an absolute machine. But anyways, 3v3 equal playing field yet again. As we approach just about a minute remaining, Windsor holding it down quite nicely, but we'll see if they're going to be able to hold it down for the last remaining seconds and plays of the round. Helio has come back. Unfortunately, he is still a ghost, but we'll see how the round closes out as we approach 45 seconds.
45 seconds on the clock. TMU pushing in. Bulbous finds Canadian. Can he get the triple? Already holding on to the double in pocket. One of the members of Windsor playing the 90, hiding behind that shield over by the elevator. Can he force him out? And he does not! He ends up going down. Sonic finds Strike Me a Pose, gets immediately refragged though, and the diffuser is down. Oh, this is a new person. Osbro Poro. There we go. Osbro Poro ends up finding the plant. Bulbous is down on the ground. Should get finished off here in just a moment. There it is. But Julian's has to find the diffuser. Find our ace. Osbro Pro. This one's gonna mess me up all the time. Osbro Pro, which he does end up finding Osbro Pro. Now it comes down to finishing off. Yep. Find the diffuser. There you go. And that is going to do it. Windsor end up taking away round one. But I'm going to be honest, if I'm TMU, I'm not disappointed with that start. You were down a player that entire time, and it came down to the wire.
Well, Helio wasn't alive for that round, so we'll see if it's going to come down to the wire now that he's going to be there to play for round two. If you guys also weren't here for the opening as we were going through both of the teams and their statistics. Statistically, TMU, their more favored map and their best map happened to be Bank. And then as for Windsor, it actually happens to be their worst played map. So when we're, walking into this map, we're expecting to see TMU win it out only because of the fact that this is the map that they statistically perform the best on, they win the most, so on and so forth. As for, of course, Windsor, it's literally the exact opposite. So, I mean, having them win out the first round is great. However, the top player for TMU also happened to be gone. So we'll see if that's really going to shake things up or kind of change anything at all. But that will turn around once this timeout is over. Of course, we're waiting for whoever was on Windsor to join back. Seems like maybe their Wi-Fi kind of took a little cut. So hopefully they come back, everything will be good, and they'll bring us down to lockers and CC, the basement, which should be great. I honestly love it. You know what I've seen before I pass this to you? There was an amazing play that I literally have not stopped thinking of. I actually use it myself in ranked now.
Oh, okay. Lay it on me.
It is a Mira. Okay, typically you'll have the Mira watching. Most of the time, a typical setup with a Mira would be to have
the
it
stream
face the
sniping.
garage.
As soon as you said it. Go ahead, though.
is typically to have one face garage on that single wall, and then have one obviously face that CC area, whatever, in the door for
Servers,
plant.
yeah.
Yeah, server. But what I had seen was there was that one watching server, of course, and then there was one that was on the single wall. You know where the thermite will typically, or the ace will typically open up the wall and just
Right.
like they had a mirror there, popped it, so that basically if they did try to open up that wall, or like if they got anywhere near it, it would be very hard for them because they would get shot through it. And I thought it was so smart, and I literally use it in ranked all the time.
Yeah, if we're not doing that, we're just opening the wall ourselves, and I know them. When I play with my friends, it's like, you know what? They can't breach the wall if we just open it ourselves. And there have been situations where we have opened quite literally every wall on site and just bunkered down with like Clash and Castle and forced them into different areas and said, okay, you know what? You can't breach us. Come at us though and see what you got. See if you can win the 1v1s with everything opened up. And surprisingly, it works more times than it should. I don't think that we're going to be seeing any situations like that, but you know who I do see that gets me kind of excited? It is the Lord himself, Tachanka, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to say Grim. I've been waiting for a Grim.
I've been waiting for Tachanka, not Grim.
I've been waiting for I will say, Tachanka's really good for holding down servers, but I've been waiting to see a Grim. Grim is used so often, at least when I see him. He is an amazing operator, and I remember when he first came out and it was like, okay, I guess Grim is taking on the most useless operator role right after Warden.
5 seconds
But
left
I will
before
say,
insertion.
I think Grim had an awful start, and now he's actually used quite heavily, and I think he's an amazing operator, especially for pushing players into positions that you don't want them in, or basically just backing them into corners where they're unable to move. I think that he's great for being able to kind of concentrate certain players into certain places that you want them to be in order to kind of get cheeky, get a couple picks onto them, and kind of push them into a space that they wouldn't feel so comfortable in. I think he's great, and I think that a player that really knows how to use a Grim effectively can honestly be a real pain and a real like scary operator to have to go against.
You know, there's a rank strat, I have to say, since I do see the Tachanka, and I gotta keep talking about Tachanka. Oh, I miss. Give the Lord his throne back. Yeah, I vouch for that. But on this map, where we did this before, and I ended up seeing it again recently in somebody's stream, where the Tachanka would kind of take some steps outside and throw his launchers up at an arc where it would come down and land inside of the drop down to go towards dirt. And you're like, okay, well, that's kind of funny at all. But when you have the Clash moving from the inside, pushing the defender, or pushing the offense into, okay, you decide between the fire or the Clash damage with guns coming up behind, they really forces them into the sewers and just traps them. And it's kind of funny. It only works once, but it's kind of funny when it does work. A minute and a half here into round number 2, and we're seeing a member of TMU off the board. Helio, enjoy watching this round yet again.
It's a little bit sad for him, but going back to that really quickly, my friends literally used to do that for B Wars. We used to we play Bunker Wars, and we literally had to ban Tachanka and Clash. We're like, nobody's using Clash and nobody's using Tachanka because you couldn't even get into blue because you'd be slowed down, and then the fire was just overwhelming. But anyways, moving forward, I had to get that out because that honestly brought up a really good memory.
Good memory, yeah.
Yes, an amazing memory. I don't do that anymore, you know. Anyways, Asperaz gets taken down, however you say his name, but actually he's going to take down one. It seems like kills are just flying from either side of 2v4. TMU is going to still be on the back foot, which is insane because, like you said, Windsor was not the favorite team to win this out, but it doesn't matter. Seems like Julian is on a 3-peat, and he's looking for the 4th. Unfortunately, actually has other plans for him, and he's gonna have to ace this if he wants to win on this round. 20 seconds though, and it's not looking too good if I do say so myself. Little time, and seems like he's just gonna have to run in and basically just face the music as people are getting prepped.
10 seconds.
Basically waiting for him to walk into sight. And is he even going to bother? Is he just gonna let time ring out? Is
Is he saving for op? Is this CSGO? Actually ends up finding uniquely.
It nearly does.
Yeah, right? Sonic ends up finishing it off, though. It's such a difficult one to push into. I mean, you can think about this. You got Miras, they got Nitros, they have a Maestro cam sitting up that's just going to zap you as you step in. There's no chance there at that point in the game. So TMU needs to kind of recollect themselves a little bit here going into the third round and find themselves. Okay, why did you pick this map? Why is this your best map? Show us.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Helio has also been dead. Like we said, Helio has been huge, and I'm not going to stop glazing this guy. I'm not going to stop glazing this guy. I'm telling you right now. We'll see. We're going to be going open. Windsor, so far their last 2 defensive rounds have been quite good for them. So, we'll see if we can do it again. I mean, the first round was quite tight. They still ended up winning it, so that's all that matters. Let's see if TMU are going to be able to come back and win out this third tertiary site. As the boys on Windsor will be bringing us to open, which they have a Vigil. I like the Jackal pick. I think they realize that there's a Vigil, and so they're going to be bringing out the Jackal to directly counter that. That is what I like to see. The Deimos even coming in as well. Definitely, I like this. Being able to roam clear, because definitely on a map like this, you don't want to be caught in a bad situation, considering how open some of the rooms are, how many angles you're able to see.
It's literally called open area. Of course the rooms are open, okay? Look, it's in the name, Bianca.
Who played?
They did end up being back to the gridlock, only having the Jackal, but they do have Grim as well. You know, and you made it very clear. The roam clear is essential on, honestly, when you're playing any sort of downstairs site. Taking top-down control is going to be your way of, honestly, the only thing you need to do in order to... Hey, Helio's back. Hey, Helio's gone. Okay.
Oh, man.
I can't even. I can't. I can't make it up.
Poor guy.
I'm sorry, Helio.
He was coming and then he's going. That's it. He came in for 1 kill and left with a bang. And that's going to be unfortunate. That's the Grim taken care of. Along with that, the Gridlock will also be taken care of by none other than Sonic.
No.
And oh my god, the Boss G rings in the ears of TMU. As that's a 3-piece for him. He might be looking for his ace if he's a little bit lucky. Windsor sitting pretty. It's going to be up to Mr. Osbros and Mr. Strike Me a Pose to clean out this round. About a minute and a half. Capitan, Weird Operator, and as well as the Jackal. Maybe they can finally find this Vigil that's been absolutely terrorizing them with this Boss G.
This Vigil has been an absolute nuisance. Sonic is playing every single thing right in this round right now. A minute 15 left on the clock, and you have 4 members of Windsor to chew through. But I will not count TMU out on this one. We saw it happen in the previous match. Back in match number 1, round number 1, whatever you want to call it. Strike Me a Pose. It's not going to work like that. Got to watch that HP bar. Can opener from open area. Gonna open up the hatch with 50 seconds left on the clock. It's gonna come down to the wire. Strike Me a Pose ends up getting knocked on out. Osperopero is looking for an angle and isn't going to be able to find it. 4 members versus 1 with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, it's not looking too good, unfortunately. Although he is a Jackal, and no matter how many feet he's missed, it seems like this round might be for the boys on Windsor yet again, which, I mean, I'm not really sure what it was. I will say that Vigil was absolutely wreaking havoc. And I mean, having not only, I was going to say they have the Deimos, but never mind, they swapped off him. But having the Jackal on the board, I feel like there is absolutely no excuse why Vigil is able to run away with 3 picks. There's just no reason why he should be able to do that. Anyways, Osperoso is, I don't even know what to say, so I'm going to call him Os. Os ends up getting that final kill, but it doesn't matter. The round is not won, and that's going to leave the boys on Windsor at a 3-0 lead. Wow. Great kill and a great baiting, but baiting is only going to get you so far when you got to win the game.
You know, you take what you can get. You're going to get the 1 kill. Right now, Windsor is kind of putting on a little bit of a clinic here on Bank, but You know, I do lean into this one being nicer for the defensive side of things, and sure, the round one didn't go at all how TMU wanted. Very hard kind of momentum stomper. You know, there's momentum. That was just a thrashing of momentum right there to be down a player, but you can't harp on those kind of things. It comes down to how well you mentally reset and charge into the next rounds. Going forward is the big thing in these competitive settings, because that's what's really going to set teams apart, you know?
Well, we'll see if these teams will be any further separated. Hopefully Windsor will, or not Windsor, hopefully TMU will lock in and at the very least win out something, because it's not a good look. It's actually a horrible look. I'm not even gonna hold you. I mean, it's only 3 rounds in, anything can happen. But yeah, they must be warm-up rounds, hopefully, because it actually seems like this defensive lineup. I really like this defensive lineup. I think this is practically perfect. I might opt to have like another operator instead of like the Wamai or something, but again, Wamai is always useful, just like a Jagger and whatnot. But anyways, might be getting a little bit cheeky on the repels if they're not careful. Unfortunately, it's going to be Julian who's not careful enough, getting taken down by none other than Strike Me Oppose, and with that, he strikes himself a kill. 5-4, leaving him at 16 HP.
You know, could they make the reload on that gun any longer? I gotta say. Strike Me Oppose gets the opening frag and spends the next 30 seconds reloading his weapon. 60 seconds off the clock. Now, 1 member off the board for Windsor. Oppose kind of in that one-shot territory, and it just seems like right now, TMU's just gonna try to whittle away what they can, distract a little bit. Bulbous ends up finding a pickup onto Minsk, gets immediately refragged by Uniquely. We're going to start seeing some Frost action yet again over here on Bank instead of Chalet now, and I'm excited. I love Frost, one of my favorite characters, and her weapon. It's honestly the weapon that gets me.
Dude, Frost is amazing on this map. I feel like, especially on this site, she should not be overlooked. I think she's so good for having that. Well, not only does she have the shield, but she's great for being able to kind of slow down those hop-ins into stock, or at least kind of notify you. But finally, TMU look like an actual team. A 4v2 turns to a 3v2, but the bomb is still going in progress of getting planted, and so it goes out the window, and here we go. This is where the fun begins. A 3v1 now. It's going to be up to Uniquely to not only kill 3 players, which, I mean, they're basically all outside, but not only that, get the diffuser down. Helio finishing him off, and finally TMU playing a lot better. Their team looks a lot more decisive when they're playing this out.
Remember, warm-up round. TMU really bouncing back in that one. It looked good. They were able to get in. They got the diffuser planted and, you know, just cleaned up from there. That's what you want to see. Take a look at that synergy across the board from TMU. 3 kills, 3 kills, 3 kills, 3. And 2 for Strike Me Oppose, but I'm not going to count you out. Getting that opening frag definitely set the pace for that round. Now we're going to continue for TMU. Let's see if they can find a second in a row. Gonna hold on to this upstairs defense for Windsor. Let's see if they can find it this time around.
I sure hope so.
Uh-oh. Look at us, bro, Perose. Do you see what I see? Oh no! Give the Monty back! Come on, you!
Oh, no,
We just got teased. We just got teased.
Stop!
Yep.
I didn't even see it. Wait, he knows something that. Oh my gosh, he knows something that his team doesn't know.
I didn't see it. It didn't count.
No, I mean, Monty would. I mean, I can definitely see a Monty being played. I think it would be better in the basement, just because of how open Bank is. Like, I feel like Monty could be really good and also really bad. Just depends on who's lurking in the shadows. But unfortunately, no Monty. We've gone 15 rounds plus another 5, make it 20 rounds, and no Monty once. So see how that works out. But let's see if TMU are able to secure the second round under their belts, or if Windsor are going to shut them down early on. We'll see. A Thorn is something that we haven't seen yet at all. Not the first game nor this game. So we'll see if she's going to be a little bit of like a surprise kind of trick coming in from Windsor.
Well, I know you like to talk about the thorn in the side of people, and I do think the thorn will be the thorn in the side, you know, vaulting in to immediately hear, especially on these second floors, you know, and you hear just the thorn trap start to activate. It's not a good feeling where you just gotta immediately book it out. You know, I feel like there's different levels of panic in offensive operators when you're just walking through the map and a motion sensor goes off and you see somebody's camera snap around like where the thorn though, when you sit there and vault into a location and you just hear the sound of it activating, now that's just panic, turn tail and run as fast as you can.
We'll see. Well, I know for sure, at least me, when I, you know, get into contact with a thorn, I absolutely lose my mind. I literally look like a headless chicken running around just making sure that I can avoid it at any cost. I mean, some people, they shoot it. Me? Oh, no, 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 no. I'm just going to run around and hope that it doesn't hit me. They know that stock is going to be taken over by the boys on TMU. They're very aware of it, and unfortunately, the first to get a set to get off is going to be Paulus. Right back at you, Julius taken down, and seems like it's a refrag after a refrag after a refrag, as it's going to be a 3v4. The boys on Windsor are going to be at the man advantage, but are they aware that actually has made his way in through that little split hallway?
You know, I just kind of like Strike Me Pose on this Capitao, just simply for the gun. I get the funny reload. I also dump an entire mag into a wall and just remove the wall. You know, it's fun to watch. Unfortunately, ended up finding himself on the gray screen. 30 seconds left on the clock. Helio ends up going down to Uniquely. Time is ticking down for TMU, and they need this round to close gap a little bit. Unfortunately, Osbropero is going to go down as well, but the hands of Minsk actually finishes off Canadian. Now in the 1v3 scenario, actually called out, and down goes actually Sonic gets the final one, and Windsor sets the difference 4-1.
I think actually was in a really good spot too. Just I'm not sure if the defenders were aware that he had already made his way in through there. Unfortunately, you know, he ended up just kind of dying along with his team. I'm not really sure, you know, how confident he was with that, but well, that round is over, but do you see what I see?
What's happening? Do they stick it this time is going to be the question.
No, they must. They have to. You know how great Monty is down here? Monty is absolutely amazing for taking the server. I'm telling you, because if they don't, then it's just a waste. It genuinely is a waste, and it's really going to suck, because Monty down here is absolutely incredible for making your way in through that server. I swear, I promise you right now.
Yeah.
We do. We do 21 rounds. Yeah. Finally, we've been edged for 20 rounds. The 21st is where it goes. We hit 21. Finally, we're going to be seeing some Monty action, and I hope that this is what's going to turn the tables for TMU. But not only that, we also have a Ying, another operator who, I mean, infamously gets banned all the time. She's going to be able to get played. We'll see how well. The Tachanka still holding down CC server. We'll see how well that goes now that we are going to have a Monty along with them.
See, that is going to be the one factor I do notice. The Tachanka into the Monty, such a frustration factor to try to get out of that fire. Twitch doing Twitch things into the mirrors. It's the way it goes, you know. You should walk in with the Twitch drone, knock down the mirror as fast as you can and open up those lines of sight. What I do like is the majority of the team UCOM just being dedicated to this dive. You know, we're gonna walk in with the Monty with gridlock to cut off the sides, or even just put the gridlocks in front to be a disruption factor for anybody trying to approach the Monty who's carrying the diffuser, and then just Ying flash everywhere. The Monty doesn't need to be able to see when he goes for the plant, and it looks like the approach is coming in as TMU is pushing into servers. But does the member on Blue Stairs recognize that the entirety of TMU is in there? Minsk ends up going down as Bropro gets the pickup with the Monty pistol, and now the can opener on the server wall. They are pushing into sight.
That's absolutely great. They get rid of the Tachanka, the one thing stopping them from making their way in. And damn, I forgot uniquely. Is this another boy that is stopping them from getting in? That headshot is going to hurt. Gonna strike him really where it hurts. I'm not sure if there was somebody who's also gonna be coming in through garage, as it seems. So despite having the main assault coming in through CC and server, there's also somebody that's gonna be getting cheeky over by the garage. It is gonna be none other than Helio, the solo dolo warrior, who I notice a lot of the time is always kind of doing his own thing by himself. The Ying bombs coming out are going to have this bomb get planted, and of course the Monty is going to be there for shield and extra support. But as I say that, when he gets taken down by that C4 in a 1v3, it's going to be up to Helio, who was solo dolo. Oh my god, I'm not sure what happened, but it seems like
where did they all go?
that was unfortunate. 3v3 turns into a 1v3, and I'm not even sure how that was like a half a second. And two people just fell face first. TMU on a good start at the beginning of that round. Unfortunately, we'll leave Helio all by himself, and we won't be able to close out that round. It's 5-1. Who would have thought that we, well, no, I would have thought we would have been here on split, but I would have thought that it would have been TMU up 5-1.
I was so baffled, just shocked, you know? Everything looked like it was going in TMU's favor. They first knock out the Tachanka, which is one of the biggest disruption factors for this team comp style. They push in, you know, Sonic goes and wraps from garage and is able to use the opened up mirror from earlier in that round that the Twitch drone shot out to find themselves a pick. 2 members down, they get the plant down, they're going to back out. It just felt like everything fell apart from that point on, and wow, just TMU's offense just collapsed as soon as they got that plant down. Windsor's just playing that defense different. Correctly is the correct choice of word, but different. Now it's going to come down to TMU on defense. Can they replicate those results, but better? They are down 1 in this set. They need to get every single thing here. I know I said the same thing about Windsor, and hopefully now that I'm saying about TMU, that we're going to see a similar course of action.
Well, it does definitely seem like deja vu from last game, so if, you know, it does go exactly how last game went, then TMU should be able to catch up in no time. Of course, no Monty is going to be brought, despite them attacking from below. They're not going to bring a Monty at all, which is fine, but I feel like absolutely coming down here, a Monty is just a necessity. But Windsor seems to think otherwise, as they have never brought him once. So with that, they're already making their way through. The Jackal will come in handy, but however many operators are really on the roam, I'm not really sure if there's too many for them to worry about. I think most of the time the players are kind of just in and around sight. And if they weren't, aka this bandit, it seems like he's already taken good care of, as he gets taken down quite early on.
That was a good drone out from Windsor into the follow-up. You know, it's something like Bulbous was trying to get the advantage on. It's like, okay, you're gonna draw me, somebody's gonna be pushing, let me just push you first, but did not win out that gunfight. Yeah, now you remember down on the defense, Windsor is already hovering the site. They can smell it, it's right in front of them, and we have a 1.5 minutes still to go in the round.
Ying would have been absolutely amazing here. I would have rather had the Ying over something like a Capitan, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. I think that the Ying would have been definitely a lot better, especially if they were planning to kind of like open up those hatches and do what they gotta do. But that's fine. What I am gonna talk about is Helio holding down this garage. I'm not sure if the boys on Windsor are kind of aware that there is somebody on that garage side keeping watch. We'll find out soon, but it seems like the main course of attack is going to be coming in from these hatches / this server CC area. Of course, I mean, this hatch control is going to be huge, especially for the boys on Windsor. They are going to be watching to see if anybody over peaks a little bit, and as I say that, Strike Me Opposed ends up over peaking a little bit too much, but there we go. Like I said, Helio being in the garage might be a thorn, but no matter, Sonic cleans him up, and the bomb is going to be planted no matter what, but there to slow it down at the very least. Is she going to be able to tank it with all of her HP? Yes, she does, and now we're in a 4-9 situation.
Planted it right along the wall. Diffuser is down and time is ticking for TMU. Not only do you have to watch the hatches on the verticality, you need to clear the members of Windsor out of servers. There's so much ground to cover. They do find two as Minsk and Uniquely both go down. Pro and actually getting those pickups. It's all going to come down to the last remaining member, Sonic, who finds Pro, who finds actually, and Windsor take another round and take us to match point.
Yeah, this is, wow. What, he literally took the words out of my mouth. What the Sigma, what the Sigma, what the Sigma. I cannot believe that this is Windsor's worst map. I'm not sure if it's just the fact that TMU is kind of already off the game with, like, off the first map with, like, a chalked kind of mental, knowing that they were up, like, 6-1 at one point, or, like, 6-2 at one point, but that is just...
Attackers need to locate.
Oh no! We're at match point, and it's even more detrimental than last map because Windsor, the lowest that they ended up being was 5-1, and then they ended up making it 5-2.
Attackers have discovered the
So
location
TMU,
of the bomb.
they got a very steep hill to climb up if they want to win this out.
Well, we shall see. Match point, set point. It all comes down to this. Can Windsor walk away, or can TMU pull this back? They have a hike, a mountain. Everest is standing in front of them, and it is named... I said a mountain. It's named Everest. You know what? A mountain is in front of them. It's named Windsor. They have 5 rounds to tie this, 6 to take the lead. And they, like, 5 to just take us to overtime. They need to get 7 in a row in order to win this one. And that's a long way to go.
I was gonna say, as much as, you know, I love watching it, watching Rainbow and commentating, I gotta say this seems like this seems huge. I will say, I think that's a lot of the time, winning it also comes down to your mental as well. If you're chalked, it's, you know, you end up playing your chemistry is off, and so is everything else. And with that, the cheekiest kill, Ospero is gonna get taken down, but a refrag will come out. Sonic taken down as well. A 4v4, still even playing field. But as I was saying, I feel like the mental chalk that the boys on TMU have went through, especially after last game, can impact on their performance moving forward.
It's definitely something that just sits in the head of the players, and unless you have that kind of discipline on the team, and you have to treat esports as a sport. It's in the name, you know, and that kind of mental fortitude, that discipline that you just grow through competitive over time. I'll be entirely honest, you know, gamers don't have the best discipline. We've all been in ranked lobbies. You mess up once and everybody's like, oh, surrender this guy. He's clay division right now. Get him out of here. He's in dirt, you know. Let's dig him a new hole and put him a little bit deeper. It's, you know, it's just rough. You gotta understand, hey, you win some, you lose some. Rounds, games, all of the above sets. You take the refresh, take a step back, and just reset yourself. And yeah, I do think that's what needs to be done. And it just feels like TMU is kind of, I'm gonna say were kind of struggling to just kind of get their feet under themselves. Right now, I'm looking towards TMU. I'm seeing some life right now in this round as Mitsk ends up going down. Helio ends up finding it. 37 seconds left on the clock, and Helio getting another one uniquely off the board, and TMU is still in it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2-6 still. Match point, set point.
We need a Helio back. We need his energy and everything. That last round, beautifully done. I believe he ended up just getting those last 3 picks. And despite even being gone for that single round and then basically just getting wiped off the face of the earth the second round, he's come back stronger than ever, doing great just as he was before. But like we mentioned, like you said, it's a really big uphill battle. Mount Windsor is definitely not one to just take lightly. We're gonna be going back down to the basement We'll see if the boys on TMU are going to be able to win this out. Obviously, they won upstairs quite nicely their first defensive round. No, their second defensive round, sorry. And we'll see if they're going to be able to play this one a little bit better because that one time that they went down here wasn't too shabby, but I mean, the walls kind of crumbled closer to the later end. We'll see if they're going to be able to hold it down a little bit better. Not only that, Bobus is going to be on the vigil. The Jackal is swapped off, and there's no Damos either, so I think they're just going to have to be using their heads to get rid of him in no time.
Attacker's objective is to locate
Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing that round 2 Boss G Vigil running around the map as... Our Vigil doesn't have the Boss G, but you know what he does have? Pseudo Claymore. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Julian is just him. He saw you from a mile. He saw your foot in the drone hole. I don't know. You got called out, son, because that was a pre-fire of all time. Good night, Bobus. Hello, man down TMU.
Vigil has one job. He was probably seen on a cam somewhere, and that's a little bit depressing. It might have been that journal as well, but Helio, to get his brother back in blood, is going to take down the Brava. We're up to a 4v4 yet again. And this is a glitch that happens all the time. If you swap onto a cam, or off a cam right before it gets destroyed, this literally happens. It doesn't last too long. There we go. When I used to cast, I used to observe on console. That used to happen to me all the time, and I used to be suspicious. But anyway, we're back watching the feed. 2 minutes remaining in the round is still evened out playing field, but with the Vigil taken care of, open is for the taking, at least unless somebody comes in and tries to flank.
Third time's a charm. There you go. Strike be opposed. Get that mirror window down. Helio ends up finding a second, but Helio finds a third. 4-2. Ladies and gentlemen, do we see the ace, the quad for Helio? Eyeballs the last. There it is. An ace in the pocket of Helio. Helio is back. TMU is back. We are getting closer, but it is still match point.
Oh my gosh, does Helio have a girlfriend? Oh my god. We need to find this out right now. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I need to turn on the AC. It's getting a little steamy in here, guys.
Oh my gosh. Helio is an absolute fucking menace, bro. Oh my god. No. Oh, sorry. Oh my god. Oopsies. I didn't mean to slip that out, but Helio is an absolute menace. You have got to be kidding me. I cannot believe that. Do not mind my potty mouth, but that is what Helio does to commentators like us. They just get convincing he does it to both of us.
I'm here to shout my man, okay?
Oh my gosh, an ace to bring back the confidence.
Wait.
It's both of us. Right? Like, we both really want to find out more about Helio. Like, it's not just me. Right?
Join me in my slip up, please. Don't let it just be me.
It's not just me, guys.
Bianca's it's it.
I'm going to live
clocking this one out. Yeah, going to lunch.
But that is what TMU need. They need a player who's going to get in there and is going to bring the confidence back to the team. That's exactly what Helio has done, and I hope that it continues. Windsor still, like we said, match point and just game point in general, but we'll see if Helio has anything to say about that.
It still all comes down to this. It's still a long uphill battle. 3-6. You need 3 to tie to take you into overtime. All you gotta do is play your game. TMU knows this. This is the map they chose. This is the map that is designated as their best map. So maybe we knocked out some of the jitters. Maybe we knocked out some of the uneasiness, the tension. 60 seconds off of the clock. Windsor is starting to slow down the pace. They're starting to go back into that methodical approach, and if we do see that, I can see this leaning towards TMU. Unfortunately, Strike Me Oppose ends up becoming the opening pick in the pocket of Julian's rum glass.
We'll see if the boys on TMU are going to be able to equalize out the score. A big thing is being able to get your refrags and get picked, but you got to make sure that you're trading those out and keeping it as even as possible. However, obviously, you can still fight on an uneven playing field. It'll just be a little bit harder. Windsor still having the man advantage, like you said, are going to be taking it a little bit slower. I think they are aware that Mr. Aspro is going to be over by this kind of like Visa Tellers area. And so we'll see if they're going to catch him by surprise or if he's going to catch the others by surprise. Knowing that Helio is in the elevator is going to be huge, as TMU are now put on an even greater disadvantage of 2 men.
Helio down, but Pro ends up finding Minsk. 3 versus 4, and we are under 60 seconds. TMU just has to hold this one out. They just need to play sight, catch the members of Windsor off guard, and they are going to be one step closer to bringing us to overtime, to bringing us back. Windsor starting to close in on the site, ticking down to that 30-second mark, and they have a way to go. Those Amaru barriers are up. Aruni barriers, there we go, are up. Oh god, I don't want Amaru to have any barriers. There's the 30-second mark, though, and time is ticking down. And a good hold coming in from TMU. They have a nice bunker. 15 seconds left. Step in from the Nomad. Ends up eating a nice shot from the Legion. Pro ends up finding Julian's rum glass. 3-3. Time is ticking down. Diffuser's going to get planted. Uniquely is almost got it. 2-2. Actually finds Sonic. Canadian no name finishes off as Pro. The diffuser planted. Bulbous finds Uniquely. Canadian finds actually the 1v1 scenario with the diffuser down. The big wrap coming in from Bulbous. TMU needs to get this one. He's gonna sneak up right behind him. Can he find him? He knows. He gets it, and Canadian finishes it off. Windsor walk away 2-0 tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. And ironically enough, like we said, Windsor was definitely not the favored team to win this map from any degree at all. Not UFT, sorry. UFT. TMU was favored to win this because this is their best map, at least statistically. But it seems like Windsor had other plans for them. Despite Helio's greatest effort, it seems like that just will not be enough, and the team will end up losing 2-0, which is a little bit disappointing. But I mean, it happens. That's how it goes, and it's unfortunate. But there's always a winner. There's always a loser. I gotta say, Windsor definitely locked in that second map.
You know, they locked in, clocked in, and clocked out. They did their job. They did exactly what they needed to, and they made it look clean. And I gotta be honest, I was seeing a little bit of life coming back into TMU. I was getting very hopeful myself, and Helio just showed up with the ace. I was like, yes, this is what I'm looking for. This is the power that I need behind the players behind TMU. We saw what Helio did over on Chalet in round number 1, and you know, I was like, yes, give me that energy back, that Helio energy that we had over on Chalet. Unfortunately, came up just a little bit short, and they weren't able to get it. And, you know, at the end of the day, it just goes to show you that it is a team game. You need the team to be on the same page. You need the team pulling it together. You can't just put it all on the back of one person. Every member plays their part.
Absolutely. That is what Rainbow is. Unfortunately, if it was, a solo player game, then, there would be a lot of people that would have a lot more rings under their belt. But without the team, you're not able to make the plays. And it's unfortunate that, sometimes your teammates aren't always able to perform, but that's how it is sometimes, especially like we said, coming off of that first game, I'm not going to lie, I would definitely chalk my mental. So to a certain extent, I want to say that I do understand that even though they did lose, it was their favorite map. I can understand that they ended up coming off of that, kind of shaky first map.
Well, kind of shaky, but ended up pulling it on out. Windsor came back from the deficit on Chalet, 5-1 at the half, brought it back. And now just a good powerhouse sweep here, finishing the night 2-0. Windsor's going to be moving up and break it apart from TMU Gold. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for us here at the Canadian Collegiate League. We all want to thank you for coming out. My name's Zach Vexel over here on the desk. Bianca joining me. A phenomenal, phenomenal night here of Rainbow Six Siege. Thank you very much. I had a great time. You sounded like you had a great time. Everyone in chat, I hope you guys had a great time. And thank you, Kyoshi, for being our cameraman for the night. Until next time, we will